Hello, hello, hi. Good evening, family and friends, loved ones. Greetings to you in the name of our Lord. I hope you all had a wonderful day and have managed to get your burgers and your McDonald's and KFC. Um, I'm sure it was very, very delicious. And it was, I went to the shop and I saw one of the queues at the Eastgate McDonald's. Oh my, whew, it was. I've never seen anything like it. It was quite funny. Um, anyway, thought I had a look ahead for tomorrow, Sunday to 35, and once again we have a very um, lengthy, long psalm, and we've come now. We have finally arrived to one of those condemnatory, condemnatory psalms, like as in what do you call it? An imprecatory psalm, where David is literally calling down the wrath of God upon his enemies. And some of the contents in some of those psalms that are that are in the books of Psalm are quite graphic and very gruesome, and it's vindictive, vengeful exposition. It's quite violent. Some of them gets right down to the to the remove from existence, in heaven, not only on the earth, but and it's very graphic in that way, and it's hard for us to kind of see the Psalms take that turn, um, and how to relate to it, and so some of the things that I've learned from teachers that help us to help me to read the Psalms is recognize the Psalms, especially these five books of the poetic um, books of the Bible, from Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Songs of Solomon. They all fall under the poetical, poetic writings of the Bible, and in particular, the Psalms and the Proverbs and the Ecclesiastes. They all kind of mirror um, the same, um, what do you call it? The same theme, the same. They resonate the same viewpoint of things, life as it is from birth to death, and life as it is in under the sun. Um, that's the sun. But those they give a very descriptive, and limit the psalm to where it really belongs, which is everything pertaining under the sun. And the book of Ecclesiastes is like that. That's the recurring theme, as I have seen under the sun. So it's everything pertaining as under the sun, and what man's view and point of view is of life, um, according to what happens under the sun, and it doesn't go anywhere beyond that. And of course, then Solomon dedicated, he had so many years to dedicate his life to find what would give it purpose, and he found in every kind of lifestyle there is under the sun. There is nothing worthwhile. It's all meaningless. Nothing worthwhile doing. It's all empty and devoid of life. The only thing that he came to have a sense of worth and purpose was the fear of the Lord. It's the beginning of all wisdom, and that it is to live your life on that basis is in the fear of the will of the Lord, the fear of God. And of course, that's the word is so misunderstood in the world of Christendom. Fear, I think a more contemporary word that would um, embody that 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 um, that idea of the fear of God is the word respect. You know, Aries, because it does know how to spell. RESPECT, respect. That wasn't very respectful, was it? But that word, I think, is the closest to that we can associate the fear of God with. That word is to respect God for who He is and what His word is, and really take in everything that He is wanting us to learn and to have a relationship with Him, and to actually have the word change us. And so the psalm is written on that basis of our human need, our humanity, the makeup of human, the three major faculties of our human being, our psychology, the three main areas of our psychological capacity, which is the emotions, our emotional evolution, and our intellectual ability, and the power to choose, the will, our free will to choose that which will govern and inspire our life. Inspire. I finally used that word. So the Psalms reflect all those things that every human being can feel, and all our emotions, all our moods, all the hype and the ecstasy of our jubilations, to the to the crashing coming down, bringing down the hammer of vengeance, of wrath, of vindictive malice and hatred and anger and just, mate, all the tendencies of our human emotions is depicted in these psalms. And the writers of the psalm, like David would, I think, writes more than just about half of the psalms. But there are other authors of the book that it may interest you, that Moses has a psalm in there. I think it's Psalm 90. Moses writes a psalm there. There are other authors of the book. Asaph, Heman, sons of Korah. Solomon has a psalm in there. There's 127. And also the psalms that are attributed to the choir master. I just found out that it is given to, it's a public psalm that you can sing out in public, and the choir master is to teach that psalm to everybody. And so they are quite renowned. Everybody was quite familiar and accustomed with those psalms. So our psalms tonight, 35, which I'm gonna again do in two parts, is what we would call what do you call it? Imprecatory psalm. That's a cool word. Imprecatory. It's like okay, let's go to the dictionary for refreshment. Imprecatory is to swear or curse or invoke and bring down evil. Imprecate disaster. Cool word I've just learned tonight that you might be interested in learning. Imprecatory. A vindictive psalm of David, which it should really be. But the subheading is prayer for deliverance from enemies. And then it has a psalm of David. Some of the other translations says of David, which is we can be sure that this is David. Yo, 11. Okay, we're gonna take this. Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and rise for my help. Draw the spear and javelin against my pursuers. Say to my soul, I am your deliverance. Let them be put to shame and dishonor who seek after my life. Let them be turned back and confounded with who devise evil against me. Let them be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them on. Let their way be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. For without cause they hid their net for me. Without cause they dug a pit for my life. Let ruin come upon them unawares, and let the net of which they hid ensnare them. Let them fall therein to ruin. Then my soul shall rejoice in the Lord, exulting in his deliverance, exulting for you at his what do you call it? Being enthusiastic, joy, it's very, very excited about his deliverance. All my bones shall say, O Lord, who is like thee? Thou who deliverest the weak from him who is too strong for him, the weak and needy from him who despoils him. Despoil is to take by force. So, malicious witnesses rise up. They ask me of things that I know not. They requite me evil for good. They repay me evil for good. My soul is forlorn. Okay, that's now that I have no idea what that means. Forlorn. If you just hold on there. Calm down. David, you. David is sounds very angry in this psalm, doesn't he? He's forlorn. That's a word. Pitifully sad and abandoned or lonely. Oh, poor David. My soul is pitiful and lonely. But I say, when they were sick, I wore sackcloth. I afflicted myself with fasting. I prayed with my head bowed on my bosom, as though I agreed for my friend and my brother. I went about as one who laments for his mother, bowed down and in mourning. But at my stumbling, they gathered in glee. They gathered together against me, cripples whom I knew not, slandered me without ceasing. They impiously mocked more and more, gnashing at me with their teeth. How long, O Lord, wilt thou look on? Rescue me from their ravages, my life from the lions. Then I will thank thee in the great congregation, in the mighty throng I will praise thee. I think we're just gonna stop there, but so we get in. David is he's a little bit peeved off at something, and reading that. I'm thinking my mind is taking me to when when King Saul was slain, him and his son and his three sons. His three sons? No, him and Jonathan. And might have been two other boys with him. Yeah, I think it was three sons. They were slain by the war with Philistia, and they were slain at the Mount Gilboa, and the Philistia found them and beheaded them and hung their bodies on the wall. And the word got back to David. Actually, a soldier went with the bracelet and the crown of Saul, went back to David to tell David about what had happened. I think in another way, he was kind of hoping for some sort of reward as well, being that he was the one that delivered what he must have thought would have been good news to David, because David was in line to the throne. Not so much in line to the throne, but he was a mighty man of valor, and I'm sure there were people that must have thought that David was a king because of that song. David has slain his 10,000s, and so they've always put David in a more prominent place than Saul. But when the word got to David that this man saw, told him that Saul has died, David inquired of him, "How do you know that he died?" And the soldier said, "Well, I was riding along and I saw him, and he was on his staff, but he asked me to slay him down because he tried to kill himself, but he was still alive, and so I struck him dead, and I took his bracelet and his crown, and here I am." And thus goes the story. And David mourned, wept, he tore his clothes, and everyone that were with him mourned with him, and they grieved for they were mourning for Saul and Jonathan, and there's a great lament there in Samuel's of his lament for Saul and Jonathan, and him and Jonathan, that was David's best friend, and he was really grieved with that incident with that tragedy of the fallen king of Israel. And so that's where it's taking me with this reference to I afflicted myself with fasting. I prayed with my head bowed down to my bosom. I grieved for my friend. And that's what that is. My friend or my brother. Well, as though I grieve for my friend or my brother, um, and so I went about as one laments for a mother, but I don't know. It could be a wholly different situation, apart from what happened to Saul and Jonathan. But that is the closest thing that I can think of, because then um, David sent word to who was it? The men of Jabesh, the men of Gilead, which was the relatives of Saul, because they went and got they went to Philistia and pulled down the bodies off the wall, and brought back Saul and buried them. And so David sent them a message, and was thanking them for what they did, in their valor and their for going back and getting the body of Saul and his sons from enemy territory. Um, and so he sent them a message in a prison, I think, maybe. Well, I could be wrong. Because I'm not sure about the present. But, and so and there was a reference that for them to come to him, because all of Judah has come to him, meaning that the men of Judah has made him king. Um, but the men of Gilead did not respond as such. They went away and put Ish, Ishbosheth, um, one of the sons of Saul, and made him king in the other regions of Israel. And so David's king, then when he first came into the kingship, was only in Judah, and the rest of Israel was with Ishbosheth, I think is his name. And so they were at war, Judah and Israel, where they were fighting amongst each other for a time, for 7 years, because that's how long it took for David to be recognized as a king of Israel, and then Israel finally accepted him as king over their whole country. And so that's where I'm thinking, like, that's where it's taking me to this uh, Psalm of David. Whoa, 20 minutes. I really want to keep these short, but uh, let's not worry about the timing. Okay, and so, and this shows how our Paul writes in Corinthians 10:11, I think First Corinthians 10:11, that these things were written for our instruction. And so, in the light of this, is about our mentality and our emotions and our choice, and picturing the David's enemies, physical enemies back then, um, can be viewed as the enemies that we have, psychological enemies that we have today, in that sense, with the principalities and the demonic forces that are all around about us, but also our heart. Out of the heart speaks the mouth, and out of the heart comes the issues of evil intentions, like murder, adultery, fornication, theft, false witness, and slander. Those things, they come out from us. So as much as we are psychologically facing these principalities out there, um, we are also having to guard ourselves from the issues of our own hearts that are corrupt and prone to evil desires and corruption. So then this Psalms starts to make sense with those enemies, with our jealousies, our our nature to be bitter and resentful, unforgiving. Those attitudes and things that have come out of our own hearts, those are the things that we have to watch. And I think because as following from yesterday's, from today, 34, of the human errors of David, this shows him as a young Christian. He's still learning, and it's shown here at the first verse. Contend, Lord, you fight my battles. You go fight them. Um, you know, and take the shield and take the armor. Take that and you go fight them. But in the New Testament, Paul is telling us to take up the armor of God. And so we see that David is still young. He's still learning about our faith. And he's still learning his way through, and he's reacting as we would, exactly how we would when people slander us and put us down and mock us and tease us or whatnot, and repay us evil for the good that we do to them. And we're like, we retaliate, and we want to bite back and fight back and hit back harder. And so, it helps us then to relate to these psalms and not be so shocked by the language of it, the imprecatory, the imprecatory. What a cool word! That's content, and it's gruesome, violent language. But this is bad. But I know there are some other ones that get really, really bad. And this 28 minutes. Okay, we better finish it there. And hopefully tomorrow, the Spirit will guide us into some green pastures of this because it's very instructive for us, especially throughout the 4-week lockdown. I'm sure there's some bottled up frustrations that we want to let go, and I hope you don't memorize some of the stuff and say it's those you love, because it's not meant. It is not an angry prayer that we should, but it's something that we can learn from about our own attitudes and our own nature, our own human nature, that David expresses that we have all been there. The vengeful one. Who's seen revenge? Yeah. All right. God bless. Hope you all have a good night. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow.